Hello everyone, Helen here. How are you today? I hope you're okay. I'm okay. Although I think you might be wondering about me with me calling my podcast this week Possessed by the Magical Hare. I'll explain. Yes, I do feel like I've been kind of possessed. I've been possessed and had a bit of a creative splurge and I don't know, immersion maybe is the right word with the wonderful world of the hare. So I'm going to explain that, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that I've made because I've been making things. I've been sketching, painting. I've been reading things about the hare and reading poems and writing music, and even I started writing a poem and that turned out into a song. So I've got all of those things for you today. So I'm going to try and be precise and not too much waffle, and so make sure I can get through my list here. I've got a list there, not to forget. So where did this all start then? Well, I think really it started about a year ago when my husband Phil and I were in the Orkney Islands on a camper van trip, and we visited the beautiful island of Hoy. And while we were there, we went on a walk to go and see the Old Man of Hoy, the big rock stack over the cliffy side of Hoy. And on the way back home in the early evening, we were absolutely captivated when we spotted two mountain hares. I'd never seen a mountain hare before, and I felt almost that I had eye contact with the hare. I didn't get any video. I didn't want to move when I saw them. I just didn't want to move at all. I just looked at them and admired them, and it was just that was really one of the absolute highlights of that holiday. And it's just stayed in my head. I just keep thinking about those mountain hares every now and then. And so I suppose the first thing that happened after that was that when I came back from Orkney, and I had some Orcadian wool that I'd bought, and I decided to knit a hare. This one here, I've already shown you him before. He's called Roggenwald. He uses Cynthia Vallet's pattern for Odile the rabbit, and I just made the ears a little bit longer, so it was more like a hare. And so he is using wool that I bought when I was there, so it reminds me of my time there, but also as a hare, it reminds me of that lovely experience of seeing the mountain hares. So as I say, I've just, these things are been in my mind ever since then, keep popping up. And of course, recently I started making a wall hanging with a picture of a hare on it. And that, in fact, is now finished. So if I'll show you that. Well, I'll hold it up, but I'm going to show you a bit closer up the things that I did to finish it off. So here it is in its entirety. And I'm so pleased with it. I'll turn you around and show you the things I did to finish it off. So I showed you last time that I had written these words, or embroidered these words describing a hare. Then I decided to add a proverb. It's hard to put a grain of salt on a hare's tail. I just like that. It makes me smile. And you'll see that around it I have sewn lots of little gold stars, because the whole thing is meant to look rather magical. And then up here I decided that I was in two minds whether to make this big semicircle here a moon or a sun, but I decided I wanted the colours of the sun. in this one because there's lots of bright colours, and hopefully you can see what I've tried to do, which is to start with paler shades of yellow and gradually go to pale oranges and eventually go on to darker oranges and even red in the middle there. And because the shape was becoming rather arch-like, a narrow arch, I decided to make the circle in the middle as well. And then because this edge here along here was looking a bit raggy, I decided to put a whole line of grass along here. You can see, just grass all the way along here and out here. And there I have embroidered the name of the poet John Clare, because the other words that I chose to use was just a couple of lines from a poem that he wrote about a hare. I chose the words, "Through well-known beaten paths, each nimbling hare," see that there, "stirts quick as fear, and seeks its hidden lair." So those words just rather appealed to me. And I love the word stirts. I think it just means starts. It just moves quickly. It's rather nice. And you'll see that there are lots of French knots dotted about using some variegated thread. And actually I used inspiration from one of my photos I took of the Dundee tapestry, where the knots had started close together and then gradually become more and more spread out. I thought that looked really pretty. And then these sort of shadows of birds, or silhouettes of birds, I suppose, I decided not to do anything with at all. I was quite happy just to leave them unembellished, still there, not covered up, but I didn't really want them to be prominent. So all that needs now is a backing. So I just need to get around to doing that, but I'm really pleased that it's finished. Well, I'm sad that it's finished as well, actually, because I've enjoyed it so much. But it won't be the last project that I do like that, and I'm looking forward to having it up on the wall somewhere when it's got its backing and hanger on it. So I'll show you it when it's properly finished. Yeah, so there's that I've been doing, and then when I was recently just looking through patterns that I bought, you know how you do that, and then don't get around to making them, and I found that I had a pattern for a pair of winter hares made out of felt and embroidered. And so I decided to make them. So here they are. Finally got around to making them. I bought the pattern ages ago, probably last year. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed doing that. I can highly recommend the pattern. The instructions were really, really good, and lots of helpful tips on doing the different stitches. I mean, you know, I am still a beginner embroiderer, and if you look closely at these, you can see that there's a bit of unevenness there in the stitching, but I do feel like I'm improving now. So yeah, so that beautiful pair of hares in a kind of folk art style, that is, actually. And yeah, they'll probably be a gift to somebody, I think, but I think they need to stay together as a pair somehow. Yeah, so there's those that I've just made just a few days ago. And then I also decided to make a little rabbit, a hare. A hare is not a rabbit, as you'll hear in a little while when I tell you about the book that I've been reading. So this little hare hasn't got a name yet, have you? No. And this was from a book that I bought a couple of years ago when I went to Yarndale, and I bought the book. It's a Sue Stratford book, Countryside Creatures, I think it's called. And I didn't make anything from it. And then I decided it would be a nice gift for my niece who likes knitting. So the book went away. So eventually I bought myself a copy again, and hadn't made anything from it, but I thought, oh, I wonder if there's a hare in there. So I made this cute little hare. I used some, I think it's Serdar tweed, something like that. Can't remember. Anyway, it was quite easy to make, and yeah, quite nice to make something small like that. I've been making all those big cats. Yes, so yeah, so I've made that. And yeah, I think I said that I've also been painting. So yeah, I have been looking on YouTube at videos of hares just because I've been completely obsessed by them. And I came across a watercolour tutorial for painting a hare. So, oh yeah, I haven't had my watercolour paints out for ages, and really, you know, a bit out of practice, and I never was very good anyway. But I was trying to improve by doing it regularly, and I just haven't got them out. They are nice and handy here now to get out. It didn't take me a lot of effort. Anyway, it was a lovely tutorial by a lovely lady called Diane, and I'll leave a link to her YouTube channel and the particular tutorial that I did. Actually, I did one which was a hare with butterflies in it, but I decided not to do the butterflies because I wanted to have. Already had an idea in my head of using the painting for something that you'll see again shortly. And yeah, so I just wanted the hare on one side of the picture and then kind of a bit of a space. So I didn't completely follow the tutorial, but it was really helpful in getting me going. And the style that the tutorial's in is a very kind of unthreatening one, because Diane shows you she'll talk you through it and say, oh, that bit hasn't gone quite right when she's doing it, and so it makes it feel like, yes, it is okay, it doesn't matter if it doesn't go right straight away. And on the other hand, when you look at a tutorial like that and see the finished result, you can just feel so daunted by it, and think, oh, I'll never be able to do anything like that. You know, you can talk negatively to yourself and feel defeated before you've even begun, but it's just good. You just have to do it, you know, and that's what I did. So I've made a little video of me painting my hare, and it's accompanied by a piece of music that I've written recently called The Magical Hare. And I wanted to have a piece of music that would describe both the stillness of the hare when it's just sitting there watching and looking around it, but also the times where it suddenly starts running really fast and darts about all over the place. So hopefully you can hear that in the music. So here's the video of me painting the hare. Now I told you also that I've been reading about hares, and I bought the most beautiful book called The Private Life of the Hare by John Lewis Stemple. Now I've read other books of his before. He writes non-fiction books about nature. There's a really lovely one about woodland that he was looking after. He's a farmer as well as a writer, and he just writes beautifully. And this book is just so it's beautifully written, and it just touches on all aspects of hares. And I thought you might like to have a little kind of review of this book, so you know what's in it. Because if you're interested in hares and you haven't got it, then I really recommend it. It's just a little book. It's not really very expensive one or anything. And yeah, so I've made a video of me telling you about what's in this book, and then I'm going to finish by reading you 3 poems as well. So I hope you're going to enjoy that, and I'll see you again in a moment. I haven't got time to tell you everything that's in this book, but I've just selected a few of the many interesting things in it. The first chapter begins, "A hare is not a rabbit." We're then given a description of the physical differences, a hare having larger ears, often tipped with black, and overall a much larger, sturdier build than a rabbit. It has a much larger heart and special bones in its nose to allow for better respiration when it's running. Hares rely on changing coloration of its fur to help with camouflage, but its main defence from predators is the speed at which it can run, up to 48 miles per hour. Unlike rabbits, hares don't dig burrows. They live above ground in depressions called forms, carefully chosen for protection, but also to give them a view of the countryside around them. And Shakespeare noted in one of his poems that hares sometimes mingle with other animals so that predators such as hunting dogs can't smell them. Sometimes he runs among a flock of sheep to make the cunning hounds mistake their smell, and sometime where earth-delving conies keep to stop the loud pursuers in their yell, and sometime sorteth with a herd of deer, danger deviseth shifts, wit waits on fear. For there his smell with others being mingled, the hot scent-snuffing hounds are driven to doubt. I'll skip over the chapters about hunting the hare and hare as food. The next chapter is all about the hare in myth and religion. There are loads of folk tales and myths about hares, and the hare has been given a particular connection with the moon. I've got a lovely storybook called Luna the Moon Hare, which quite a long time ago I read some of it in a podcast. And in this story, a magical hare travels through each season. It's beautifully illustrated, and maybe this is where I got my idea for embroidering swirls onto the body of my hare wall hanging. There are many superstitions about hares too. Many people believe that hares were unlucky. For example, sailors thought it was bad luck to mention a hare while at sea. And here's part of an anonymous 13th century poem showing that it was believed that they shouldn't use the word hare, but instead call the animal some other name. The hare, the harekin, old big bum, old bushart, the hareling, the frisky one, old turpin, fast traveller, the way-beater, the white-spotted one, the lurker in ditches, the filthy beast, old Wymount, the coward, the slink-away, the nibbler, the one it's bad luck to meet, the white-livered, the scutter, the fellow in the dew, the grass-nibbler, old Goybert, the one who doesn't go straight home, the traitor, the friendless one, the cat of the wood, and so it goes on. Other people believe that hares brought good luck, although this mainly seemed to involve having possession of a hare's foot, used as a charm. It could apparently keep ladies safe during pregnancy, or it was said to prevent rheumatism or stomach troubles. I think my favourite chapter of the book is the one about the 18th century writer and poet William Cowper, who kept 3 hares as pets. They were called Tiny, Puss and Bess. Tiny was never really tamed, but the other 2 were happy to be petted and loved. It was clear from William's writings that he was a very caring owner. Although Bess died soon after he was full grown, Tiny lived to the age of 8 and Puss lived until he was 12. William wrote poems about his hares, and I'm going to read you a couple now, followed by a poem by John Clare that includes the lines that I embroidered onto my hare wall hanging. The Garden by William Cowper. Well, one at least is safe. One sheltered hare has never heard the sanguinary yell of cruel man exulting in her woes. Innocent partner of my peaceful home, whom 10 long years' experience of my care has made at last familiar. She has lost much of her vigilant instinctive tread, not needful here, beneath a roof like mine. Yes, thou mayst eat thy bread and lick the hand that feeds thee. Thou mayst frolic on the floor at evening, and at night retire secure to thy straw couch, and slumber unalarmed. For I have gained thy confidence, have pledged all that is human in me to protect thine unsuspecting gratitude and love. If I survive thee, I will dig thy grave, and when I place thee in it, sighing, say, I knew at least one hare that had a friend. When William's hare, called Tiny, died, he wrote epitaph on a hare. Here lies, whom hound did ne'er pursue, nor swifter greyhound follow, whose foot ne'er tainted morning dew, nor ear heard huntsman's hallo. Old Tiny, surliest of his kind, who nursed with tender care, and to domestic bounds confined, was still a wild Jack hare. Though duly from my hand he took his pittance every night, he did it with a jealous look, and when he could would bite. His diet was of wheaten bread, and milk and oats and straw, thistles or lettuces instead, with sand to scour his maw. On twigs of hawthorn he regaled, on pippin's russet peel, and when his juicy salads failed, sliced carrot pleased him well. A turkey carpet was his lawn, whereon he loved to bound, to skip and gambol like a fawn, and swing his rump around. His frisking was at evening hours, for then he lost his fear, but most before approaching showers, or when a storm drew near. 8 years and 5 round rolling moons he thus saw steal away, dozing out all his idle noons, and every night at play. I kept him for his humour's sake, for he would oft beguile my heart of thoughts that made it ache, and force me to a smile. But now, beneath this walnut shade, he finds his long last home, and waits in snug concealment laid, till gentler puss shall come. He, still more aged, feels the shocks from which no care can save, and partner once of Tiny's box, must soon partake his grave. Hares at Play by John Clare. The birds are gone to bed, the cows are still, and sheep lie panting on each old molehill, and underneath the willow's grey-green bough, like toil arresting, lies the fallow plough. The timid hares throw daylight fears away, on the lane's road to dust and dance and play. Then dabble in the grain by naught deterred, to lick the dewfall from the barley's beard. Then out they sturt again, and round the hill, like happy thoughts, dance, squat, and loiter still, till milking maidens in the early morn jingle their yokes and sturt them in the corn. Through well-known beaten paths each nimbling hare sturts quick as fear, and seeks its hidden lair. Okay then, so I've just got one more thing to share with you today, and that is another piece of music, and I've turned it into a video. Now, the first thing I need to say is that all of the bits of video that are of hares are not mine. So I found some free video clips online, and I couldn't find them again to find the name. I couldn't find the name of the person who'd very kindly offered them for free. So I have put a thank you at the end of the video, but I don't know the person's name. Maybe I'll find out and then I'll be able to change it. Anyway, one night, very late at night, I started writing a poem about a hare, and particularly the hares that we saw on Hoy in Orkney. And very soon, I'd only written a few lines when a melody started coming into my head as well. So I decided it was going to be a song. So I carried on writing all of the words, ended up with 6 verses, and yes, I then just developed the tune, and so I put it all together. I've made a music video. So I am going to sing it for you. Lots of you, the last time I sang something, were very encouraging, because I know I'm not a singer, but I did really want to sing my own song. I'd love to hear a really good singer singing it, but anyway, you just have to have me for the moment. And I am dedicating the song to 2 lovely friends of mine who actually live on Hoy. So enjoy my song, Hare of Hoy. See the hare with hazel eyes sat upon a grassy cliff top, still and silent, ever heedful on the wild and rocky outcrop, watchful eyes alert and shining, guarding all his grand domain, still and silent, calmly viewing where the hares supremely reign. Is perked proud, the senses prickling, hearken to the smallest sound, still and silent, always listening, nature's music all around. Twitching whiskers feel the shifting of the cold, relentless breeze, still and silent, self-preserving, senses raised and ill at ease. Certainly his muscles tensing, hair alert, no more alone, swiftly springing, nimbly leaping, bounding over craggy stone. Full of magical perception, high on Hoy in Ragwick Bay, there is waiting in the moonlight for the settling of the day. Okay, then it is time for me to go now. So I just wish you a lovely week. Take great care of yourself. Hope you find lots of lovely things to do. And I will see you again very soon. Okay then. Bye.